welcome back to the C-Space studio at CES 2023. Coming at you all day today and tomorrow with so many amazing live conversations with thought leaders in media, branding, marketing, and oh boy, do we have a good one for you right now. Our friend Alex Underwood is back in the C-Space studio, now representing Reddit as the global head of agency development. Alex, welcome back.
Great to be back and great to see you again after all these years.
So Reddit has a pretty big presence here at CES.
Yep.
You're over at the Win. You've got this exhibit called Future Tellers. Tell us about that.
Yeah, after a short hiatus, we're back with the Reddit Future Tellers installation, and essentially it's showcasing all of the opinions, the insights and ideas from our community about the future. Because a lot of important and organic conversations start on Reddit and are happening today about the future forward. And they can often be harbingers of what is to come, what is to come next. I'll give you an example. The 3D printing community started on Reddit in 2010. That was 3 years before it became mainstream, when President Obama actually surfaced it as a new way of revolutionizing how we make everything in his State of the Union speech. Electric vehicles community started in 2009, Bitcoin 2010. Even the March for Science movement started as a throwaway comment in the Reddit community, because people on Reddit are connected through passions and interests they share, not people they know or they follow. And when you have passions that are in communities that are connected to the future and new technologies, Reddit almost becomes like an incubator of new ideas. And I really believe that communities are characterized by these shared experiences, shared opinions and ideas, and that really can be a springboard to future trends. And in that research in our installation, we're looking at the future forward. The community's telling us that they believe that lab-grown food, for example, will be mainstream by 2025. They believe that smart contacts will be mainstream by 2029. There'll be robot chefs in 2035, and even space tourism in 2050.
Sure, and there's companies here at CES, of course, that are actually trying to bring all of those visions to life and many more, so it's a good integration of those two things.
Absolutely, and I think that's the whole sort of purpose of doing this at CES. It's really about the future technologies, and we believe we've got a nice collective wisdom of the communities, across 100,000 communities, that can give us some really nice insights and predictions about those forward-facing trends as well.
And what have you done to actually pull out the insights that you find interesting or noteworthy or worth listening to? So Reddit, obviously, for those who don't know, I don't know who doesn't know what Reddit is, but it's obviously this massive message board on the internet where you can have communities and sub-communities called subreddits for any interest under the sun. So obviously there's a lot of content there. How have you, as Reddit, plucked out the ones that you want to show people?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing for us is we're trying to scale our business globally at the moment. We're trying to use these forward-facing insights as a foundation to actually work closely with our agency and client partners to actually unlock more measurable business success and outcomes as a foundation to longer-term partnerships. And honestly, it's important to pull out here as well that those insights are grounded in collective community, shared interests and passions, and not individual demographic or personal data. And I believe that gives a level of authenticity and trust to the environment. All the conversations that exist within that environment, they're happening every day about your products, your brands, your services. And I think that which will provide education and support, but also at the same time are shaping and influencing the purchase decisions at scale and for tomorrow. And we're using those insights as a place for brands to come where opinions are being formed, to connect with early adopters and actually figure out for those early adopters and really truly understand how can they advocate for your brand, how can they help shape your brand image and identity. And I really truly believe that shared interest and community are the route to brand advocacy. And fundamentally those insights you can get from long form conversational data and sentiment can really be used to inform future product development, positioning, identify new and existing brand territories. Truly are sitting on a huge repository of information, of collective wisdom, which can be used for insight generation. And that's what we're starting to use the insights for with our agency and brand partners.
And to mine that data and to let the best ideas kind of come to the top, are you using the Reddit system, the Reddit algorithm, I suppose. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you call it, but the idea that people basically will vote and upvote on different comments, and so it's kind of the wisdom of the crowd, the wisdom of the masses to surface those ideas that are worth most listening to?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not based on, unlike other platforms, it's not based on algorithms or those signals, essentially. Yeah. We are looking at the sort of the collective wisdom of the community to surface what is important and what is relevant, what is inspiring and insightful to them. And I think another thing that is fascinating to me is that on Reddit, you all see the same thing, the same platform. Nothing's necessarily personalized for algorithms to you as an individual. We're very much about the collective wisdom and the collective focus of the community at large as well.
So what's an example of how I, as a brand, let's say I'm a lab-grown meat company and I want to engage with the lab-grown meat subreddit on Reddit, what are some examples of ways that I could find insights and then maybe make adjustments to what I'm doing, either in my advertising, in my outreach, in my fostering of that community, or maybe even business strategy decisions about the kind of products I'm doing? What are some examples there?
Yeah, I think to keep it quite broad there, I think you can certainly use Reddit as a consumer sentiment tool. Because you're talking about long-form conversation to understand truly how people are talking about your brand, what do they perceive as your brand, what do they think about the category at large, and you could really mine into those at that minutiae, that data level, to inform how you want to engage, how you want to communicate, and how you want to advertise to that audience in a real and authentic way, and be part of that community. And that's I always find this, the difference with Reddit is it's not like, from an advertising perspective, my guidance is always, Reddit's not like a billboard, not public. It's like you're in the room with the audience, you're in the room with the community, so how you approach that community has to be in a real, human and authentic way.
If other social platforms wanted to replicate some of these aspects of Reddit that you're saying make it unique, is it possible to do that? I mean, obviously Reddit has a massive built-in advantage of it already exists, there's already millions of people using it, so people are going to go there. But it's funny when you look at what it is technically, and I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes, it's a relatively simple user interface. It kind of comes out of the Craigslist era, right, of like web design in some ways. It's very basic, but that's maybe one of the reasons why it's so compelling. But do other people try to copy this and then they just don't get it, what it actually is, and so they fail?
Yeah, I'm not sure if people have tried to copy it. I think from the genesis, we've always been very clear that this is a community, and by the way, there's 100,000 communities of all different types of shared passions and interests. And the fact that we don't look at the individual, we're looking at the collective. We don't look for your sort of personal individual PII data. Yeah. You can be just yourself, and you can just focus around your passions and your interest on the platform. And it's important to also know that because it's focused around passions and interest, these communities are moderated by our users and our humans, right. And they're super passionate about how people communicate and how people behave and how people interact within those communities as well. And I think that's a bit of a difference to other platforms, which are more grounded in algorithms and different signals. Ours is a very much human-led and authentic environment.
Will we see any major changes in the way that brands or users interact with Reddit over the next year, or do we expect kind of an evolution, or sorry, just a continued progress toward more people engaging in this way?
Yeah, I think when I think about the industry at the moment, I feel like there's a big shift that's starting to happen towards more privacy first solutions. Yeah. Fundamentally, we think about the cookieless future and the deprecation of the cookie. Privacy is core to our DNA. We are due to our focus on non-PII data. So these solutions already exist on Reddit, and we're going to continue to invest and double down on those solutions. Fundamentally, our communities are at the heart categorized by interests and passions, and to target and engage people within our communities from an advertising perspective, we offer a number of contextual interest and keyword-based solutions that enable brands to engage in a privacy-safe way, so to speak. And we really believe in building that environment, continue to enhance that environment in which people feel informed and in control of their experience. And we believe that you can build a really truly thriving ads business by being respectful for people, their data, their privacy, And we've been pretty successful at it, and we believe we're going to continue to be successful with that as well.
There's never enough time here in the C-Space studio, but I want to give you one chance to shout out an underrated subreddit, something that you want to promote, or just that you think is personally cool, your passions.
For my passion, I go with, it's quite obvious, but I go with r/Aston Villa, which is my football, my soccer team for the US audiences, and also r/Birmingham is the city that I was brought up in. So I feel like Reddit gives me that sense of connectivity to my community back home, and I'm missing out on the developments and the growth of that, and the way people talk and the way people interact in that community is something that I'd like to keep close now that I've been in the US for over 13 years now. So those communities really directly tie back to my I guess my UK-based passions.
Well, Alex Underwood, thanks for sharing your passions and being part of our community here in the C-Space studio. From Reddit, thank you so much for coming.
No problem. Thank you, James.
And thank you so much for watching. This is the C-Space studio. We're sponsored by Salesforce. We're here at CES 2023, and there's so much more on the way. I'm James Kotecki. Keep it here. Welcome back to the C-Space studio at CES 2023. I'm your host, James Kotecki, and we're talking right now with Kathy O, Global Head of Marketing, Samsung Ads. Kathy, welcome back to the C-Space studio.
Thanks for having me, James. It's so great to be back.
Always great to talk with you. And for those watching who have not had the benefit of our past conversations, let's catch everyone up on just kind of the scope, the snapshot of Samsung Ads. What are some numbers and just ground us in reality?
Well, Samsung Ads is the advertising arm of Samsung Electronics. We are excited to share that we are across 70 million TVs now, reaching 120 million consumers.
Congratulations.
So we're the #1 smart TV data set. And what's really exciting, especially with the dynamic year ahead, is that we're driving proven results. So we are going to be doing that in a trusted, brand-safe environment, focusing on ROI and efficiency, which I know is top of mind for everyone.
Yes, and is it just Samsung televisions and Samsung products?
It is Samsung smart TVs right now, along with mobile devices and cross-device as well. But more to come.
Okay. Well, I mean, that also says something very positive about the pervasiveness of Samsung products generally, so that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And so how does that kind of work with Samsung Ads, and where do you kind of fit into the broader brand umbrella? Is it fairly integrated between what the products are doing, what new products are rolling out, and what you're doing on the ad side?
Absolutely, and even more so now. I mean, our priority and philosophy is still consumers first. So we take that into account when we think about all the services that are on our TVs. How are we amplifying, whether it's enjoyment of entertainment through Samsung TV Plus, which is our #1 fast, free ad-supported TV app on TVs, as well as gaming services, which I'll share more about.
Okay.
But it's all integrated, and we are really focused on how do we simplify the everyday life? How do we make it easier and more enjoyable?
Yeah. Do you think about the phrase TV, like, is that even kind of outdated now? Like, is it just kind of all different screens and we're just watching?
I think it is. I think it's just entertainment in one place, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about being at the fingertips. One of the things I'm most excited about is that we have seen that consumers right now, for entertainment purposes, are actually using their native operating system on smart TVs. So ours is Tizen, which is powered by Tizen. You'll see that phrase a lot this year. And we are really excited to see that it's going to be extending beyond smart TVs.
Okay.
Our Samsung smart TVs and more.
So this is the operating system of the TV, and is it analogous? I mean, when I think about this, I think a lot of people have probably used the operating system on their TV without thinking, oh, I'm using the operating system.
That's right. It is just the experience as soon as you turn on the TV. It's that intuitive experience where you get discovery of new channels, new opportunities to do gaming as well, which is a big area that we're focused on. And we're just trying to find ways to try to connect more to smart things within your home, which we just announced at our press conference yesterday as well.
And there must be maybe some kind of tension between making that as simple as possible, but also giving them as engaging of an experience as possible, and obviously integrating as many ads as possible, within the realm of what the consumer will, still appreciate.
Oh, these are the hour-long conversations we have. We have engineers and we have designers that are actively looking at this through and throughout.
So you mentioned gaming a few times. I know you've got some interesting things to share there.
I'm so thrilled. So gaming is not only an interesting venture and exciting investment that we're doing, but we launched last year our Samsung Gaming Hub. So Gaming Hub is a game streaming platform. So think of this. My husband at home is a gamer, okay? Turns on the TV and he can game with any favorite controller of his that can connect with Bluetooth. So no consoles, no PCs, no new hardware or downloads, all in one place. And we have some of the biggest names across Xbox and NVIDIA GeForce Now as well.
Got it. So these aren't necessarily games that are just specific to the Samsung gaming platform.
Absolutely not. We are here to bring gaming entertainment to all sorts of players, and we're introducing a lot of gamers. If you think about it, year over year, we have a 20% growth of consumers who are coming to Samsung Smart TVs for gaming purposes. So I'm excited to see how we're going to expand into that next year.
And how do you think about advertising in that context? Are you able to share about how you integrate ads into the gaming realm? And do you think about it in a significantly different way than you might for other kinds of content that aren't as interactive?
Well, the gaming audience is very particular and specific as it relates to their entertainment enjoyment about gaming. I know this through my husband, like I mentioned, but also many friends and our experts in the gaming community. So we need to think about what type of ads and how it's being placed organically, but it doesn't change. I mean, when we think about it, it's still about relevancy, it's about interactivity, and we want to, at the end of the day, make sure that's helpful for brands and consumers alike.
What else are you messaging here at CES? What are you up to here? What are you talking to people about?
Well, Samsung TV Plus has tremendous growth. That, again, is the #1 fast, free ad-supported TV app on our TVs. We have 250 premium channels, and that's 30 owned and operated as well.
Oh, cool.
I mean, we had a holiday movie hub all the time going on, and we have the kids movie channels that are on it too, but we're seeing that there is just this enjoyable experience. And we recently did a study with Samsung Ads where we saw that nearly 75% of viewers are willing to switch to free or lower cost tier services for that value exchange.
Interesting. And is there something that's new that's happening there where people are just kind of getting sick of the number of different, premium streaming services that they need to bundle together to effectively replicate the old cable model, and now it's just as expensive, if not more so?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we're focused on right now is making it easy, right? So when you turn on the TV, it's one of the first stops right there. It's easy access, but we're also making it really intuitive. So we're exploring into interactivity, different shoppability of ads, and I think that's going to lend to a better consumer experience as well as for our brands.
That kind of linear TV experience where I'm just going to turn it on and watch whatever's on, is that the experience people can have on your owned and operated channels, some of those premium channels that you're talking about?
Absolutely.
And if so, what do people still get from that? Like, people might assume, oh, everything's just going to go to streaming, everything on demand. Do people just still like the idea of spontaneity, I suppose, or not having to think too hard about what they're going to watch?
We're seeing that. I mean, just being able to turn on the TV, have it on in the background. There are 3 billion hours of viewed Samsung TV Plus programs globally right now. So we're seeing that it's an always-on experience. And then we're also lending into new platforms, new content partners. So I'm excited. We're also seeing that there's a lot of global and national and live television that is being consumed. So I think that's one of the daily activities that we're looking at.
Any other data points that might surprise people that you have access to because you have all of this data as we head into 2023? Anything come to mind?
Well, let's see. We're seeing that 1 in 3 Americans today are using 31% of their free time. So I mean, we're talking about free time is being spent on Samsung devices. And when you think about that holistically in a home, right?
Yeah.
We're not just talking about TVs and mobile devices, we're talking about home appliances, our refrigerators that have absolutely been upgraded and evolutionized this year. So we're excited to see what Smart Hubs and Smart Thing is going to bring for us.
That's a big responsibility in some ways, to be a brand that's in front of so many people for so much of their time. Do you have those conversations or those thoughts like, oh, we could, I imagine, I'll put it this way. I imagine what you're doing is you're building a long-term relationship of trust with the consumer, right?
Absolutely.
And if it's Samsung ads, if it's Samsung devices, all these things work together. And so I imagine that if you had something that you could do in the short term, some lever that you could pull that would get some great results in the short term, but would turn off people in the long term, I imagine that would be a conversation.
It's a conversation we have all the time, and we do think about the long term. I mean, not just about what is going to get the short term win, really, but how are we going to become the household name in homes around the world? We're also building relationships with our consumers through not just entertainment, but think about connectivity of your home appliances, your mobile devices, and also just work efficiency, especially in the world that we're in right now. We're remote, we're working efficiently at home, and how do we have all this connect together?
Do you have a vision for the future of work that is, do you have any unique thoughts about that?
I have some thoughts, but maybe more to share at another time on that.
Okay. Certainly. How does it feel to be back in person in Las Vegas?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, I'm always thrilled to be surrounded by tech and new innovation, but it's also really great to see a lot of new partners and colleagues here in the space. And what's reminding me is that even though we had the pandemic during that time, we've also seen that innovation doesn't stop, especially here at Samsung Ads. We've grown globally across the organization. We've launched our DSP product. We're proving out solutions that are at the lower funnel as well as the upper funnel for marketers. So I think 2023 is absolutely off to a good start.
I know that you're a mentor and supporter of women inside Samsung, inside the organization. Is there something that you would encourage people here at CES to do to be more supportive of women in tech?
Absolutely. Give opportunities. I think the first thing is to just allow and open up opportunities for women of all colors, right, to be able to explore their passions. And for women here at CES, one of the things that I would say is go up and talk to people, meet them. I mean, networking is one of the strongest and still most powerful way of just getting to know one another and to learn about this big, vast industry.
Well, thank you for sharing some of your insights with us today. Kathy O, Samsung Ads, we really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, James. Appreciate being here.
And please stick around because so many more great conversations are on the way. I'm James Kotecki. This is CES 2023, and you are in the C-Space studio. Welcome back to the C-Space studio here at CES 2023. I am James Kotecki, and my guest right now is Mark Penn, CEO, Stagwell Inc. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So Mark, people know you as a political strategist, obviously, and commentator. What is your role what is Stagwell, and tell me about what you're doing there.
Well, Stagwell today is a $2.5 billion revenue, 14,000 person NASDAQ listed marketing company that was really, built with my core investor, Steve Ballmer, as a digital first marketing services company that now is extending out into a series of tech platforms. I mean, one of my jobs, of course, over time here was also Chief Strategy Officer at Microsoft. So we are bringing a heavy dose of the combination of marketing services, and technology to the marketing world.
And tell me more about that secret sauce or that combination. If I'm coming to you as a client, what kind of a client am I? Or maybe there's no typical client, but imagine I'm a client. What are some of the things that you're going to walk me through when I start to engage with your company?
Sure. Well, what I always say is, look, every company is not just becoming a digital company. Every company is becoming a digital marketing company. And so what does that mean? It means that when I started out in marketing, which was more in politics first and later on in consumer marketing, of course it was all about the TV ad and getting placement of the TV ad.
Yeah.
And that was the old stack. I mean, today you really have to understand the customer journey. You have to understand the product itself and a strategy behind it. You have to understand kind of the data that's then been accumulated about the habits of the customers. Then you really have to understand kind of what mediums they can be reached upon. And then you have to have creative ideas that really work in those mediums. Because, look, there's obviously a part of technology that works on subscription, but most technology is really advertising or marketing driven. And it's advertising or marketing driven on the promise of lower cost, higher targeted, more effective marketing, really driving technology. And if we don't have that, then technology itself won't have the money it needs to grow and develop.
Have some of those promises of lower cost and higher effectiveness, maybe I can read between the lines a little bit. It sounds like you're saying those haven't always exactly been met. And so what are some of the things that people have gotten wrong about trying to play in this space? Obviously, a lot of people are trying to do digital marketing well. What do people get wrong?
Well, look, I think that to go back to the promise, right, of the internet is I could reach that person, right, with an advertisement for ice cream the moment before.
Yeah.
If they thought, oh, it's super hot and I really need some ice cream now.
Yeah.
Right, and so a lot of what got in the way of that was that the tech industry, became, particularly the advertising industry, dominated by just a couple of players, right, that really had significant market power. And what you're really seeing now is a broadening out of the marketplace, that people are going from linear TV to streaming, to social media, and a mix of these activities. And at the same time, they're also going with Google and Amazon and Walmart marketplaces, so that you're really seeing now an opening up of opportunities to reach people, even more effectively. But it takes even more complex statistical AI-driven models in order to be successful. And you can't just do it, though, with AI-driven models. You need human creativity and understanding properly combined with that.
What's been your reaction, speaking of human creativity, to the recent rise in AI models that seem to point toward a future where creativity is, if not replaced, at least heavily augmented by AI in terms of what it can create visually, what kind of text it can create, et cetera?
Well, look, clearly what happens over time is what computers or computing can do moves up. But then that leaves even more valuable tasks for humans to do, right? And so today, a lot of people don't collect the tolls, but we're all still driving the cars, and even driving the cars more effectively. So I always say the cost of data is sinking to zero and the value of analysis to infinity, because what happens is the problems get more complex, and only even more skilled teams of people can solve those even more complex problems, and all the drudge work gets taken out. So let's create a sneaker, and all right, a computer could create 50 different images and maybe test out those 50 images find out what the most appealing image is, but there's still going to be even higher levels of creativity involved in creating that sneaker in the first place. And then you'll tell me, oh no, but the computer's going to create it, and I'll tell you, not so fast, let's see.
I'm sure some people at CES are trying to work hard on making that happen. Tell me about how you think about the work you do in relationship to the political work that you have done. Do you see these as fundamentally different worlds or fundamentally different things to do as far as creating a campaign for, in a political setting versus, selling a technology company or kind of technology? Or is it all just about influencing people at the end of the day and the methods are all relatively similar?
Well, back in the day, I used to do things that were new in political campaigns, and the president would ask me, why should we do it that way? I'd say, because our largest corporations do it that way. And then I would go to our largest corporations and do something different and say, why should we do it that way? And I'd say, well, because our leading politicians are doing it that way. So in those days, political campaigns were agile, they were aggressive, they were no nonsense, and advertisements and medium would be changed really on a 24-hour basis. Corporations were slow, took years and years to develop products, would spend years launching them, and I think the worlds are converging, right, in a lot of ways. Politics is still a fast play, and corporations are still better planned, more sophisticated in many ways. But I've been lucky to be able to, I think, be in both worlds. And now we have 72 companies, including some that are purely in the political space, many that are kind of play in the large commercial space. But I think they learn from each other and cross-pollinate in ways that can be most effective in a world where even the largest corporation has to be able to respond quickly to what's going on and can't rely just on that planning that they did for the last 2 years.
Speaking of cross-pollination, certainly plenty of that happens here at CES with all the different kinds of people who come and chat. What is one thing that you're interested in learning here at CES, and what is one message that you have for the people that you meet?
Well, I'm always interested in learning what the new frontiers are of human interest. And I think ultimately, technology is not about technology itself. It's about how it changes the lives of people, either in ways that help make them, health and wellness or entertainment or other ways. So, one of the things that we've developed, and we're actually here with a booth because we've developed an AR experience in stadiums. We're here with the LA Rams, we've worked this up with the Minnesota Twins, so that fans can take their phone and see a whole new playing field, right? Or we just did a 65,000 person snowball fight in LA, where every person in the stadium could then throw snowballs against every other person in the stadium. And so I'm a very big believer in AR, right? I think that VR is going to is more of an acquired taste, but that AR is going to be part of life in a very big way. So I think there's a lot of emphasis here on AI. AI is going to get better, but ultimately not as good as people say it's going to get, because there's always remember, it always expands what humans can do. It's a much more adaptable, creative, and intelligent group than people realize. But I do think I'm very interested to see how we move into these next planes of involving technology, the world, and people, and I think that's AR.
Did you learn anything interesting? Did anything new kind of arise when you saw these AR use cases in stadiums, in the real world? Did anything surprise you?
Well, I think what's interesting is that even in the stadiums, there's the super fan that knows everything. That person actually needs AR less. It's the casual fan who needs to get more information or has brought their kids and they're sitting there like, okay, I've had kind of French fries and peanuts now, okay, I need to be engaged.
Right.
And I think that we're creating experiences that engage those folks in new ways, and where they'll say, hey, I want to come back to the stadium experience. But it's just one area. We're also developing, have developed what we call a product called Profit, which is AI-based routine that takes your news release and then determines who is going to cover it and who is going to cover it favorably, and then lets you rewrite your news release and then say, well, okay, I'm going to do better with this news release against which reporters or bloggers or podcasters. And so we have about, actually now, a family of about 10 different products across marketing, where it's AR, AI, or other platforms.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface, but there's never enough time here in the C-Space studio. So Mark Penn, Stagwell Inc., thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. This is the C-Space studio from CES 2023. We're sponsored by Salesforce. We're happening all day today and tomorrow, and we're coming right back, so keep it here. Welcome back to the C-Space studio here at CES 2023. I'm your host, James Kotecki, joined by Chris Rogers, Chief Business Officer, Instacarts. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
So let's start by defining, and you have actually a booth right down the hallway here. So there is a cool visual of a bunch of sriracha sauce and other groceries for people to look at. But for those who aren't able to see that, and just for those who want to catch up, what is the Instacart brand? How do you define that here at the beginning of 2023?
Yeah, we are the leading grocery technology company in North America. We partner with brands and retailers to transform the way that people shop. An example of the type of services that we offer is delivery in as little as 30 minutes, both on our marketplace, but also for retailers, because we're a retail enablement company. So we offer services for our retailers.
And so do you white label your services? And so I could be buying something from Harris Teeter or Food Lion, but I'm actually using Instacart. I'm just giving those as examples.
Yeah. So we have, last year we unveiled our enterprise platform, our Instacart platform, which has various pillars of enterprise grade technology that's designed to help retailers win and compete in a digital age.
So Chief Business Officer, I think I know what that is, but there could probably mean a couple different things or ways that you focus. So what do you spend most of your time
So I have the pleasure of working with both our retailers, all of our retailers on our platform, as well as our brand partners, both important parts of our four-sided marketplace, both teams that have been growing and scaling rapidly over the last few years. And by combining these two teams, which we did recently earlier in 2022, it's really a recognition that we can create more connective tissue by combining these sets of partners and unlocking value for them. And there's quite a bit of value that we can unlock. We're up to 1,000 retailers on our platform and 5,500 brand partners. So there's a lot of value that we can unlock in the system.
Yeah. So tell me about the experience for the consumer. Everything goes perfectly. I'm using Instacart. What's the cutting edge of what I can do today? And maybe even you want to flash forward a little bit to what's coming soon. What's the vision for how I'm going to shop for my groceries?
Yeah, so the strength of Instacart is the fact that we understand consumers. We have this deep understanding of consumers because we have this large marketplace with millions of customers and hundreds of millions of orders. And with that, we understand how they respond to personalization. So what recommendations do you want? We understand the different fulfillment modalities you want. Some customers like to shop and get delivery, some like to do pickup. So we can really understand our consumers and then take that power and we can use it to create better personalized experiences both on our marketplace and on our retailer white labels. What we've done really is as a company, we've made the strategic decision that we want to take that deep consumer understanding and be that retail enablement company. So the products and services that we're building are really designed to leapfrog the retailers forward with technology.
Do you think about building not friction, but different stopping points into the online shopping experience to be able to highlight certain brands? So I'm just thinking about, like, if you make it as easy as possible for me to go onto the website and just click everything and buy everything as quickly as possible, I might miss out on some of the opportunities to get deals or coupons or new products shown to me that I might see. So how do you think about that online experience?
Yeah, so we look at the customer journey online and we realize that customer journey is non-linear. So we look at, as an example, customers could browse department and aisles, they could use search, they use buy it again. Again, we surface recommendations for customers. They might use our recipes, so they might be shopping from shoppable recipes. And what we try to do is design both of our organic experience as well as our ad formats specifically to tune for that environment. So we take all of those insights that we know about the consumer in that nonlinear consumer journey, and that's how we surface the optimized consumer experience across both ads and organic.
Yeah, so this is related to your ad platform. So then what does that look like in 2023 and how is that going to continue to evolve Instacart ads?
Yeah, so the goal with our ads business is, we very much want to, our objective is to help brands, large and small, move products off the shelf, as simple as that. And we want to do that in a way that's, that's optimized for our brand partners. And we can do that because we've moved up funnel with several of our new formats that we've created. As a company, we're trying to move more transactional to inspirational. We're introducing more inspirational content like shoppable video, shoppable display, brand pages, all places where brands can curate their own content, they can surface their own creative directly on the site. They can really tell their brand story. And so that's really what's exciting for our brands is that we have the full funnel covered now from kind of awareness through to consideration through to purchase, really, really close to when the customer is going to be having that product delivered to their home.
And what kind of data do you have on the amount of customers who kind of want that kind of storytelling, enhanced creative experience with the shopping that they're having, and then some people who are just like, I just want to get it over with, and I hate shopping, and even if it's online, I still hate shopping. Like, I imagine you have many different kinds of customers.
Yeah, I mean, look, we trust the data, and the data would tell us that consumers respond extremely well to the different ad formats that we're putting in front of them and the different suggestions and recommendations that we're giving them. And we do learn over time with our product. But it just, measurement and optimizing our ads platform is pretty key in what we've tried to do this year. We do A/B testing now. We do incrementality testing. We've introduced optimized bidding, which allows brands to optimize their campaign to. All of this is designed to like take all of those insights, create the best possible campaign, and optimize that campaign on Instacart. And what we see based on the results of that is that consumers are responding extremely well to it.
My understanding is that they're also responding to ads that are in retail environments as well. So you go to the store, you see an ad on a video screen or a display or something like that. And my understanding is Instacart is also enabling that with retail partners.
Yeah, so last March when we unveiled our Instacart platform, one of the pillars was Carrot Ads. And this is a really exciting initiative for us because it operates at the intersection of both our brands and our retail partners. And the idea is we operate this highly performant ads business on our first-party marketplace. We can extend those ads directly onto a retailer site, often websites that we power. For example,
so this is all online. This is not in store.
No, this is all online.
Okay.
This is on Sprouts.com as an example, which we power. We build their Storefront Pro, and then we can surface ads. And this is all about unlocking value for the entire system here. So for retailers, it unlocks value because it represents incremental revenue for them. And often their first foray into digital advertising. Many of them don't have digital advertising today. And for brands, now brands can come to us and they can get access to our 1,000 retailers that we have on the platform. In addition to that, they can get access to first-party websites like Sprouts.com.
So we think of Instacart as grocery. You talked about it as a grocery technology company. I don't know if healthcare products are technically under the category of grocery. I don't colloquially think of them as that, but I know Instacart Health is a big deal. So tell me about that.
Yeah, Instacart Health, this is something that we're very excited about and an area where we think we can make a big difference. We're kind of thinking a lot about it along three themes. One is nutrition security. We already have a strong foundation in access and allowing people to access fresh food because of our household coverage. But with nutrition security, we do things like expand our EBT SNAP access. We're really a pioneer here. We have over 70 retailers already on the platform with EBT SNAP enablement. We're at 8,000 stores.
Allowing people who need those government assistance programs to be able to use that on the platform.
Exactly right. So if somebody's a SNAP user, they can actually use that as a payment method on Instacart at 70 of our retailers. And we're taking that even a step further with USDA, and we've announced some ambition around bringing all retailers online with deeper integrations. So that's an exciting part around nutrition security. The next piece is around making healthier choices easier for consumers. We want consumers to be informed. If you think about online shopping, it's all about having the right data. So we've launched health tags as an example, which is 23 new attributes to help inform the customers based on their taste, based on their preferences, based on their budget. Things like low sodium. It could be gluten-free as an example. And we're up to 500,000 SKUs now on the platform that have this deeper attribution. Other things to help inform customers is we've pivoted our recipe business to have healthier recipes. We've partnered with some health and wellness companies like Men's Health Magazine, Women's Health Magazine, and Prevention Magazine, which is exciting. And then kind of the third theme is this whole idea of food as medicine and helping organizations scale their food prescription or their health initiatives. We launched what's called Fresh Funds. Fresh Funds allows any type of organization, it could be a nonprofit or an employer or an insurance company. It allows these companies to give fresh food to people, and then it can get fulfilled through Instacart. And we've recently taken this even a step further and launched Care Carts, which allows, it could be a healthcare professional, it would allow them to actually create a healthy cart for somebody and send it directly to them via Instacart. So we're really excited about this. We've talked a lot about this in the last 6 months. We very much do view ourselves as a kind of a serious player that can make a difference in the space, and we're super excited.
Are you preparing for a world of, I believe they're called dark grocery stores, or kind of all robotic, all automated grocery, basically warehouses, or maybe they're not all automated, but there's no consumers in them, right? So maybe it's just people and the shelves are optimized, just people can grab them and deliver things very quickly. How do you integrate and think about that?
Yeah, so we have started to open some warehouses on behalf of retailers. We're very clearly not a retailer, so this is a service that we're providing for our retail partners. We've opened several, I believe we have 3 in Miami, Carrot warehouses in Miami, 1 in Chicago now, both with retail partners. And this enables us to pick really quickly and deliver very fast. Right. We can deliver within 15 minutes in these environments. We pick within 3 minutes, deliver within 12 minutes. And so it's allowing for that ultra fast piece. To your broader question though, of how does it fit in, I think most retailers, from my experience, are viewing it as a network. Across their overall warehouses. They have some micro-fulfillment centers, some are investing in micro-fulfillment centers, and then some are trying to figure out how to get really close to the consumer with dark warehouses, and this is what you see with us with the Carrot warehouses. So it's very much going to be a network. I don't see a world where the store is doesn't play the major role in grocery fulfillment given its proximity to consumers for quite some time.
How does all this play into what you might think of as your overall vision for the future of how the average person in North America gets their groceries and gets their food and just kind of has their experience living their lives as a family? And does it fundamentally change what dinner time looks like? Does it fundamentally change that, or is it about making it better, or is it about fundamentally changing it?
Yeah, look, I think it's about a couple things. I think it's about knowing the consumer and being able to anticipate the consumer's needs. And we're really trying to do that not just online, but across online and in store now. So if you think about, for example, we have one of our Caper Carts here, and we unveiled this connected carts initiative, or our connected stores initiative. What we're trying to do is really take all of the knowledge that we have from the online shopper and the in-store shopper and create a unified, seamless experience. So regardless of how this customer chooses to shop, whether they're going online on Instacart, if they're going to a retailer where we power their white label, or they're going in store, customers are not going to stop going in store anytime soon.
Right. I think about myself, it's week to week. I'm online, I'm in the store.
Exactly.
I want to do it differently depending on what my situation is.
Yeah, exactly. And what we want is to optimize that with that digital journey, regardless of whether or not it's online or in the store, and how that plays out. So the Caper Cart is a great example. The Caper Cart, it's very cool technology. It's got computer vision. So you just drop an item into the cart and it shows up on the screen immediately. Yeah. So very handy to be able to check out without going through a line. You can check out directly on the cart. But more importantly, now we have a screen in front of consumers, and we have, we know this consumer, especially if we have a loyalty integration with one of our retailers, which we do in often cases. So we can take that knowledge that we have of the consumer and we can start providing personalization as they journey through the physical store, right? So we can make recommendations. It's easy to do regimen strategies like chips and salsa, those types of pieces, but we could also help them wayfind, and we could help them with items that they might have forgotten, or something that might have been on their list and they haven't purchased yet. So the way we see this really evolving from a technology standpoint is like really across those two surfaces and being personalized.
Well, Chris Rogers, Chief Business Officer, Instacart, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
And thank you so much for watching us. We're here in the C-Space studio at CES 2023. I'm James Kotecki. More great conversations are just ahead.